we haven't really made any decisions.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I think our decision, we for all three of us for sure liked 45. Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, like 45 is the hands down winner of that set of four.
Correct.
Right. But what we learned is that doesn't seal the deal.
Right. Because there's not enough. So we either have to do a different one or two.
Right.
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 Correct.
I'm okay with both options, and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think port is the other one that we
the
like.
port.
Yeah, I like it as a good example of a port finished bourbon. Bourbon, Jesus, a good example of a port finished American single malt.
This is a single malt show, Doug. We don't talk about bourbon.
Yeah, we don't do that here.
What, we don't talk about single malt bourbon?
So, guys, if you're watching, listening, doing all the things, we're talking about, we got sent over some samples from Bon Vale or Distillery Acadienne, and this is their American single malt, and they sent over a couple of samples for us to try to potentially do a pick on, and we really enjoyed Barrel 45. The issue is there's like, 40
36.
bottles? Yeah. So there's not a whole lot of bottles, and the business has to make some money on it. You can't sell 2 cases of whiskey to somebody. So what we're going to do is we're going to round it out and then buy like a half a barrel of their port finish as well. That's the thought. So just to kind of clue y'all in, because we just press record and rock and roll from there. So welcome to 3 Guys, 1 Grain.
We're the 3 guys, and the 1 grain didn't get his invitation.
He ain't here. Ain't no grains.
Welcome to episode 4, guys. This is going to be a therapy session.
Amen.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay. Fitting.
We had an intro.
Forgot we had an intro. But fitting. With that little ad lib discussion that you caught the middle of, the Bon Vale ASM, as Randall was saying, we're considering doing a barrel pick. Barrel 45 to all 3 of us was pretty special.
Mm-hmm. Stood out.
Very, very much so stood out. I think it would be fitting if we start the episode by talking about Barrel 45. Let's get it in our glass and
awesome.
Chat about it between the 3 of us.
Luckily, I still have some. So I tried not to drink too much of it, because I'm like, dude, if this is the only sample I get, I don't want to ruin it.
Right. I purposely saved this one because this was really, really good. One of them will purposefully be saved and probably always be at this level unless somebody comes over and wants to try it. That was the toasted pecan, cherry wood, and amberana. I don't want to go out and say that this was bad.
Right.
I think what happened here is there is too many chiefs, and they are all fighting for dominance here. Mm-hmm. And nobody stands out, but nobody takes a back seat either. It's just a really weird hodgepodge of things happening on top of a single malt whiskey, and you don't really get any of it.
Right. Yeah. Complete. I think we were all in complete agreement about that. This was the 4th sample. This was the distiller was really interested in seeing what we thought about this one, but I kind of feel like from the very beginning he didn't think we'd go for it.
And I think it released already. I think he released it individually.
Oh, really?
Is that what happened? I
thought so. I thought I saw something where it was either coming out or it's going to be coming out. Something. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. Right. I have been paying very, very little attention to whiskey and social media and everything for the last, I don't even know.
Tell you what.
Sometimes I forget it's Wednesday and I got a show to do.
You're like, oh crap.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Right.
So for the viewer, let's get into a little bit of the notes on 45, just because if we are going to pull the trigger on this, they might want to know our thoughts on it. And then we can kind of go from there. I do have the port laid out. It's not poured yet, but we can always do a tasting of that as well, because like you say, with limited bottlings, the three of us are going to take most of this one. So good luck, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know about most. I think for barrel 45, I think I'm in for 3 bottles.
Yeah.
Out of the 36, which is a significant chunk, right? Almost 10.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Randall, why don't you go ahead and start it off with what are you getting out of this number 45? As I spill it all over the place.
So like I said, I've dipped into this this is probably the 4th time now that I've dipped into it. And I'm poured very small amounts because I want to save it. We got a 2-ounce pour, so I don't want to do too much. Yep. At first, it was super grainy at first. And I was like, it's not off-putting, but it's definitely American single malt. But now that it's had time to, I guess, open or whatever, it is all like candy. It is candy to me. Like it almost smells finished in a way, but not like sherry or anything like that. Almost maybe like a rum finish, because it has a lot of like malt sweetness to it on the nose. And then on the taste, you get a lot of the maltiness comes in, but it's not that funky. You know how sometimes with I think it was like that with barrel 44 actually, where it was like that funky, almost wet grass type note or wet hay type note. This one, it kind of took it away. And what was the proof on it again? It's 124.2. Yeah. So it's a higher proof. And I would like to leave it at that, because you can always add water to it. If that's what they're wanting to do.
Oh yeah. But a cask strength is I think that's the right answer. I think maybe if we do that port one, to bring that down slightly, because I don't remember.
It's 122.8.6.
Yeah, I think that one to come in at about 53 would probably be really good. I played with it with water for a little bit, and in that 53, 55-ish range.
Okay.
It ended up being very, very good.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pour just a little bit of it and put a little water as well, because that way we can do that. But on the taste, there's nothing off-putting on 45. It's just sweet maltiness, and then there's a little bit of that barrel char, that barrel candy, as they say. But then it just leaves you with a really nice lingering, like I think of it as, and I get this a lot with rye whiskeys, like the wicker. Like you walk into a Pier 1 orange and it's that wicker Papa San chair or whatever.
So I have a very specific note coming out of this one for me. This is a Milky Way candy bar, 100% a Milky Way candy bar. Every aspect of a Milky Way candy bar is in here, and it all comes together in a way where it smells like you crack open that wrapper on that Milky Way, you break it in half, and you can just smell every piece of that Milky Way candy bar.
Yeah,
on top of all of
you got that caramel, you got that cocoa, that's
a little bit of peanut in there. There's some chocolate.
Chocolate.
On top of that, it's like a really good bowl of oatmeal and that Milky Way mixed together. The grain is heavy. What? But it's not, as you said, it's not off-putting, but it is heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy.
There is a heavy grain presence here.
Have you guys ever had the chocolate malt meal?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not, obviously that's, you should try it. It tastes very strange, but it's also good. It's good. It's just,
we're really selling this barrel.
I don't think the taste is strange. The texture is strange. The texture is strange.
It's very textural for sure.
It's if you like grits, you're going to be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grits has got that.
I completely agree. Notes across the board. I wouldn't have called it Milky Way personally, but that is a great combo note that really describes this whiskey. It does still, I always wonder, like, someday I'm going to come back to this, and I think it's happened before, but it's not every day. Someday I come back to it and it doesn't have that whiff of grain that comes out right when I pour it. Most of the time it does. So to be fair, it wouldn't be unrealistic to expect that. The grain presence is real on this one, but it's not like that. It's not like that nasty, like wet cardboard kind of like, that one of those notes that people say is a crafty note, right? Which I dislike the term crafty more even than I dislike the term smooth, because crafty as a negative descriptor you know, we're attaching negative connotation to
almost
the word craft.
It almost is exclusively used as a negative. And,
right.
And I don't believe it should be a negative. I mean, it's
no.
Yeah, because it is a craft whiskey.
It is.
I mean,
it is.
That's why it has that crafty note. And you know, to be fair, that isn't for everybody. So Buffalo Trace will make a product for you, and you could be happy with that.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So
like, maybe a little more age would help. It's hard to say. Sometimes a finishing cask.
It's a small barrel though, so it's like it's on that line where would more age do something good, or is it
just
at
make
that
it
point where it's going to turn around and go the other direction?
Yeah.
And was this in new barrels or used?
I believe.
I'm guessing new.
I think it's new.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're small. I think.
Yeah. 15.
Yeah. Might be 15 gallon. I think he has a bunch of different size small gallons, different size small barrels.
He's got different size small gallons. Okay.
He gave us a slip with like just the high level description of each of these samples.
Right.
Yeah. But I have on a notepad somewhere, and I actually used a notepad, not actually I used a piece of paper.
Thank you.
You found a pen. All right.
Yeah. Well, because I was on the phone. I was on the phone with Philip, and
are you talking about this pen?
I mean, I got
this one right here.
Not right here. Actually.
That might have been the pen I grabbed. Those are I've got 3 wood pens on my desk. Two of them are ones that Phil made. Yeah, these ones, awesome, beautiful wood, really. But we're not here to advertise Phil's pens.
I mean,
although
Philip the distiller,
not sponsor.
Not.
If you are in the market for a cool barrel stave pen, the Ranger's Respite's your guy.
Absolutely.
Yes, he is. So Philip is like really proud of his single malt and like feels bad that he has to discontinue the line. Like, let's not bury the lead here. Why do we want to do a barrel pick of the Bonvale? This is an endangered species. Philip believes that he's going to sell out of all of his American single malt to private club picks like this by the end of the year. So we got these samples and we kind of decided, like, you know, there's 2 ways we could do this. We could go like, we want to do something that's like, what's a unique, like my normal pick style would be what's unique and punchy and has a lot of personality and it's going to make a statement. And the other thing is just like, what if we just pick a really good single malt from this distillery that you may never get, you may never be able to get again.
Yeah. You most likely will never be able to get single malt from again.
Right. There's as far as we know, he has no plans to restart it. We can always hope that if we drive enough business and enough excitement about what he's made, he might bring it back.
Right.
But we can't guarantee that. So for now, we have to assume that like there are numerous clubs that are going to be doing picks of this single malt. It's people are excited about it. Yeah. We're going to be one of them. Yep. So you get a chance to own a bottle of something that won't exist a year from now. And it also was the first officially approved American single malt type whiskey.
Yeah. The first TTB approved label for the new category.
Yep.
So that's a big deal in and of itself.
Absolutely. And the fact that they're not going to do it anymore, it's kind of like, it hurts your heart a little bit, doesn't it? Yep. You know, you're like, dude, you guys were the first and now you're the first to get. No.
Yeah. So I saw that cola approval. I contacted Philip. And then the first thing he told me is like, yeah, I'm not making it anymore. And I'm like, wait, what?
You just,
so what brought you, like, why did you decide to file a new label right as you're done making it? Total coincidence, right? The fact that it happened to be the first approval, total coincidence. That wasn't necessarily a plan.
And you know, life sometimes does that, right? It doesn't really go in a straight line. It weaves and bobs you. And that was one of the reasons why I feel like all of us wanted to get together tonight, like we did, because we've had some personal, and we're not going to get into the personal.
Nope.
You know what we're talking about. We all had our personal crap going on, and it's like, dude, we need a little therapy session, and not to say that liquid courage or anything like that, but what I'm saying is, like, we need a little bit of bro time, but also to be able to get your mind off of life for an hour and a half, or if Doug has it his way, 6 hours. You know, like
I've never gone longer than 3 hours 30.
Okay. But you know, and we do have a topic or two we're going to talk about, but this one's going to be loosey goosey, and we're just going to do what we want to do and just kind of, I feel like, to me, doing this barrel pick, and if we pull the trigger on it, which I think we're kind of working our way that way, I think it's going to be a very unique, but it's also going to be like, if you are on the fence with American single malt, this might not be the pick for you. Like, this is an American single malt. This is a grain heavy, a small barrel. So you're going to get a lot of
Louisiana,
from Louisiana. So like, you're getting a lot of
there's a lot
of flavor, flavor in there.
Yeah.
And it might be a little overwhelming for somebody who's just dipping a toe in there. I tried a Stranahan's one time,
Right.
Maybe this isn't for you.
Talk about, what are the lightest? That's a great point. What are the lightest American single malts you guys can think of?
Okay, so what do you mean by lightest? Because light to me is Speyside Scotch. You know what I mean? It's light, it's fruity,
Light,
it's delicate,
smooth,
no
crafty.
As far as like light on the maltiness as in American single malt, Stranahan's is up there for me. I don't get a lot of malty Stranahan's at all. There's a few others out there, but that's going to be the most prominent one that you can find.
Let's leave aside mouthfeel, because that has as much to do with ethanol and oil extracted from the barrel as anything. But like, I'm thinking like flavor profile. Like when you taste a whiskey like Cedar Ridge, you go, that's dense, that's heavy, that's intense, that's got a lot going on, right? And we talk a lot about things like that, like McCarthy's, like Cedar Ridge, like Balcones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think even Westland is kind of up there.
Oh yeah.
But like on the far other side, like if you're the type who likes your triple distilled Irish whiskey, or and like light is a desirable quality for that whiskey, right? Like this is not at all a knock on that style. If you like your light styled whiskeys, your Speysides that haven't been drowned in sherry, your unpeated Scotch, your Japanese whiskey at 40% alcohol, 43% alcohol, and ABV is always a factor here, right? Like cask strength stuff is going to be more intense than lower strength stuff. But just like as a brand, if you had to say like, what's the opposite of Cedar Ridge? I think two come to mind for me right away. And those are Stranahan's and VDC.
I could see that.
Okay, and so VDC is not like the bottom of the scale, but it's like
VDC
it's got
for
some
me
character.
Is very characterful, malty and fruity. I don't know if I put VDC in that grouping.
Okay.
Stranahan's 100% I agree with. VDC, man, that's a tough one to put in that one for me. You know what I mean? For me.
Yeah. But the interesting thing about Stranahan's, and I think we kind of all agree Stranahan's is super light.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Stranahan's is Stranahan's starts entirely in new oak. They don't do anything that starts in used oak, and yet they're on the lightest end of the spectrum.
Yep.
I don't know. That's a good question.
And it probably goes to,
I would say Swift. I think Swift also comes in as light.
Okay. I have actually
Swift is more of a rare.
I have never had Swift.
Anybody on Threads? Am I the only one on Threads? I wouldn't be surprised.
You
Threads is Twitter, but Instagram.
Right.
Threads is Instagram. Instagram made a Twitter clone. And
I don't even want to be on Instagram, let alone Threads. So
yeah, no, I'm not.
So I was talking to a whiskey reviewer from the UK, who apparently has a sample. He's doing a tasting, and one of the samples is Swift. And I said, "Wow, that's incredible! Like, how'd you get Swift in the UK? Tiny distillery in Central Texas, very good at what they do. They've got a particular style. It's light, it's young, but not in a bad way, and they use really good finishing casks." But considering how small of a distillery that is, it's amazing to me that made its way into a whiskey tasting in the UK.
That is strange. Like crazy.
Yeah. Somebody got him a bottle, or something like that, or maybe a lot of times reaching out to the distillery, they'll see what they can do for you. I have reached out to Swift, but it's in the works. All those things are always in the works with everybody, right? I know they're Texas just like me, and I want to try and support that as much as possible. But it's one of those things when you have a honeydew list of people you're going through, it's like, somebody's got to beat the last on the list, and it's not Swift.
Yeah.
But just to let you.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can all agree when there is the top of the list, and the top of the list is usually somewhat intentional, but sometimes it's usually just like we're a little bit ADHD, so we just grab the first person, like the most recent person we talked to. Like there's a little bit of that. But then the bottom 90% of the list is in no particular order, right? Like, so to say that like you're below the fold, that's it. You're just below the fold. It's not that you're at the end. It's just that you're like just
somewhere
I'll get there.
Yeah, somewhere down below. Yeah. And okay, anyway, that's moving on to a different tangent. But but then you get into the ones that are super prominent, right? Like you were saying, Westward and Balcones and stuff like that, where you know what you're getting when you drink it. And I feel like this one falls into that as well. So
oh, for sure. I mean, there's no questions that this is a single malt whiskey. There's zero question that this is single malt. And it is very different from any other style of American single malt or location of American single malt or bottle of American single malt that I've had. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, okay, we're all single malt drinkers here. If you're watching, you're probably also a single malt drinker. If you're not, welcome.
You should be. If you're not, you should be.
But like, welcome to the club. You absolutely should be. Have you ever gone to like a specialty chocolate shop? I'm back on barrel number 45 here.
Talking about we all are still.
Yeah. So ever been to like a specialty chocolate shop where it's like they'll be, we've got all kinds of confections. We make our own truffles, all of our, yada yada yada. It's all homemade, right? And then sometimes they'll have like remakes of like your favorite candy bar. So it'll be like, we made something that's like it's a Schmickers, right? For copyright reason, it's a candy bar that rhymes with Schmickers. Right? Or we made a Schmiesses cups, right? Or whatever, right? Like sometimes they'll do it with dark chocolate. Sometimes they'll do it with like a different kind of sugar. And like malt drinkers have probably had like a malted milkshake and connected the dots on that. Like barley sugar in your single malt in your malted milkshake, it's coming from the same place, right? When you say Milky Way and I say I don't necessarily get that, but when you say it, I get it. I think what's going on there is I'm feeling like it's too high quality to be a Milky Way.
Sure.
This is artisanal Schmilky Way,
Yeah, this is like creme de la creme of the Milky Ways,
And it's got, and they're using, instead of high fructose corn syrup, they're using
real sugar.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's like the tater, that's the tater sticker, Schmilky Way.
Schmilky Way.
Dude, I mean, I say like for me, and my 2-bit opinion, I say 45 obviously is a go. The port, I think, just to fill barrels, I think it's going to be a little more user friendly for other people. For I hate to say other people, like you know what I'm saying. Like it's more user friendly.
I wanted to say that the port finished one was definitely going to be a lot more approachable for a mass versus a concentrated few. Which is also nice that it's going to come with a few more bottles than barrel number 45. I think barrel number 45 is something special. I think I think the port finished ASM from Bonvale is good, or Acadian is very good. A great example of a port finished ASM. For me, I'm not huge into the finishing game for ASMs. I like the distillate character. I like the barrel that they put it in and leave it at that. Now, if they want to age it full maturation in something else, that's one thing. But to chuck it into a different barrel afterwards, and to be fair, this was multiple barrels blended together and then thrown into a port barrel. So that's why the quantity is up higher on the port finished one. But I think that port finished one would be a very good purchase for most people, because lots of people like that sweetness on the finish and that additional sweetness that comes in. It's a very approachable whiskey. I think it drinks really, really well. Like I said, I thought it did better at a little bit lower on the ABV. Not much, but a little bit. And I think barrel number 45 is something for people who truly, truly love to get into the weird and get into the weeds. Not weird per se, but definitely get out there and explore very different single malts from around the country.
Well,
yeah, it is squarely a single malt. Like you won't be mistaken about its identity.
No,
right.
And it is a pure expression in the sense that it was aged in a single type of barrel. It was aged in just one barrel its whole life, right? It's got, it's funky in a different way, right? It's not rum funky, it's not sherry funky, it's not Texas.
That's a great way to put it, because it is funky in a different way.
Yeah, but it's also like among this set, and like, not to name barrel numbers, right? Somebody's gonna want them. There were a couple that were funky in maybe a way that we felt was a little too much. Right. And so we kind of arrived at the conclusion that barrel number 45 was the right balance of being something interesting, something special, and something that you could really enjoy. We've gone on and on about, I don't know if you guys know, I've been chatting with the distiller and I know what the price of these is going to be. I don't know. We're not going to add any markup. This is our first barrel pick as a 3 guys 1 grain. Right. But I don't know that they can necessarily commit to what that price is going to be, but like, it's going to be about $70, give or take, per bottle.
Yeah.
So like, that's not bad, right? We're not talking about, my first barrel pick, the McCarthy's, was $120, which, like, we got a really good deal on that, and like gave up all chance of getting any sort of profit by getting a good deal on that. Yeah. And this one's just cheaper, right? It's just a lot less expensive. Once again, it's your opportunity to own something that's going out of production.
Piece of history.
Gone out of production. Yeah.
And again, for everybody watching this, and we do go forward with this, we put this out, you buy it based on watching this. Mileage may vary.
Yeah.
Everybody's palate's different. We align on this one, but we align in different ways. We all agree that it's very good, but we all have very different reasons why we think it's good. So, again, mileage may vary. So just be aware of that. And for anybody that's explored whiskey for any period of time, even a short period of time, that, hey man, the stats on this bottle look excellent. You buy it. Yeah, it's just not for me.
Yep.
And it happens, right? I've had it happen. You've had it happen. Doug,
yep.
I know has had it happen.
And if that happens to you, you can at least say, hey, this was the first American single malt label that was ever approved by the TTB, right?
That's right.
So like, you get a consolation prize even if you don't like the whiskey.
Yeah.
But I mean, it also just kind of opens it up to like, and not to push this even more forward, but it opens us up as a group to you buy these, and then next thing you know, we have another one coming up, and it could be something completely different or something you might fit into that profile a little better. So I'm not saying go buy the whiskey even if you don't like it or if you don't like the notes that we gave it, but at the same time, it opens up the door for us. Go buy the whiskey. Go buy the whiskey. Yeah. Quit being a dummy. You're going to buy it anyway. You got 300 bottles in the background. Like, literally, just go buy the whiskey. It'll be fine.
I feel personally attacked.
I wasn't talking about you because I know you're going to buy it. All right. So that moves
He's talking to you, Patrick.
Yeah, exactly. That's who I'm talking to. So that moves us on to our first topic, actually. And this one hurts a lot of people's hearts, but at the same time, it's understandable. And that is none other than, and I know we've talked about this distillery a couple of times, but it is
we can't shut our faces about them.
Yeah, exactly. It is Delbach Frontera is discontinuing their line. Now, we each have, I think, different batches, which is kind of strange. I have batch 4, Doug has 3, and Germ has -1 because he, anyway.
Well, mine is pre-batch number bottles. So
okay, so it's either one or two.
It's either 1 or 2.
Process of elimination there.
Yeah.
We have after the incident on the blind sample showdown, we did come to the conclusion that this was a batch 1, their first release of the Frontera, according to the date purchased and so on and so forth. So but yeah.
And what one thing that we know is that when Mark joined the distillery, one of the first things he did was he set about making the QA process way more consistent. Right. So whatever was pre and beginning of Mark's tenure may not have been as good as what came later. It's not to say that Delbach wasn't a good distillery, but it might have been more inconsistent. Let's put it that way. I think Germ and I disagree a little bit on this point. I think Frontera is one of Del Bach's strongest, and especially in recent batches, right? Because if you go back and watch that episode of Blind Sample Showdown, you'll see that we didn't particularly like the batch that Germ has. I didn't hate it nearly as much as my opponent hated it, and we're not going to repeat his words because I feel like this isn't the time for that.
No, but if you would like to know what happened, please go check out my channel in the Blind Sample.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shameless plug.
That's your teaser. Go watch the damn video.
Link down below.
I'm not telling you which one it is. You got to watch it.
Okay, you got to watch all of them. So if you don't know what Frontera is, like if you're like, what's Del Bach? Who's Frontera? Frontera is
let's actually talk about it.
Yeah, it's finished in Spanish sherry barrels. So
right?
It's just their normal. And I know my batch, I don't know about anybody else's. My batch is supposedly not mesquited. Normally, Whiskey Del Bach is a mesquited American single malt. It doesn't have to be all the time. They do have their classic, which is unmesquited, and it's not like peat at all. It is a different type of, it's more of a barbecue-y type smoke. It's really
got
good.
A sweetness. It's got a woody sweetness.
It does have a sweetness to it. But this one is finished. I don't remember how long Mark told me it was finished for. I want to think a number of months.
Yeah, I think somewhere in the range of like 6 months, give or take.
Yeah,
maybe 3.
I thought 5 or 6 months. So you're getting, and obviously the color shows. I mean, it is fairly dark for what it is. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is 2-year product in there. Del Bach is also one that doesn't really care about an age statement. They release whiskeys. I know one of them that we had on the 12 Days of Malt Miss was an 11-month-old American single malt. So they don't really care about the age statement. They pull it when it's good, when it tastes good. So the cool thing about that's the good thing about it. They are using smaller profile barrels as well. So there is that. You're going to get more extraction, and they're in Tucson, so you're going to get a lot of fluctuation in temperature as well. But for me, this one is like a quintessential sherried Scotch, heavily sherried.
Exclusively PX sherry, so Pedro Menes.
Yep. Yes.
Which is a little bit higher on the sugar content than your Oloroso, or
it's a little bit desserty on the nose.
I love this for dessert.
Mm-hmm.
I love
pour it on ice cream. If you have
the whiskey or the sherry,
both.
I would pour PX on ice cream for sure. Like that, it literally comes out of the bottle syrup.
I have a bottle of PX that I haven't opened yet.
Is mine PX or Oloroso? I don't remember. I have one I put it in the fridge because it's already opened. And I don't go through it that often. I was doing a finishing stave for it doesn't matter. I'm
gonna try not to take us off on this particular tangent, but remind me to talk about finishing casks later.
Yeah.
I had a really interesting conversation with an industry person recently that got me thinking.
I mean, you're already talking about it, so let's go.
You might as well.
No, all right, fine. All right, so here,
tangent number 1.
Yeah, we got to do it, right? That's my style.
I need
that's
to
why
make
you
a
have me on
graphic
here
for Doug's tangent.
Right. Fast forward through this if you don't want. All right, so Black Frost, right? The way they make their whiskeys is they distill. They ferment and distill everything as a 100% whatever grain it is, right? They've got corn, they've got malted rye, they got unmalted
very Canadian
rye,
style of whiskey making.
Canadian style blended whiskey, right? And so like whatever, I think their malted rye says like blended malted rye whiskey, and I'm like, what's that about?
Before you continue, to clarify, they are not Canadian. They're from Minnesota. But they are distilling in a way that is very typical of Canadian whiskey.
Yeah. Yes. So I was talking with Bartlemy. Had her
as
over
one
to the house
does.
for dinner, actually. As one does. She finally got to meet my son, which was cool. She was in town for business. Had her over. And I showed her the whiskey library. That was lots of fun.
She was in Seattle for business. Is there going to be a Westland or Copperworks and McCarthy's collab?
No, it's much more mundane than that, right? Like she's one of the, like it's all about the bar accounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's making the rounds and selling your products, your brandy.
That side of the business, not
yeah.
Yeah, the sucky side.
Yeah. And because she's so close down in Oregon, it's like no big deal for her to just puddle jump up here. Apparently, it's like almost equal cost if you consider like the cost of driving versus the cost of a plane and Uber, whatever. It doesn't matter. So apparently, it's like do the math and figure. It's like a coin flip. Is it going to be a drive or is it going to be a flight? But anyways, so we were talking about this one, and she was saying, that's absolutely the way that everybody should be making whiskey. Right. Like everybody, like that's the way, right? Because you've got so much more flexibility on your mash bill, like your effective mash bill in the end, you really know what it is.
Okay.
Because, and also you have a lot more control of your flavor profile. Once you put something that's a mixed grain profile, like your typical bourbon mash, you're locked into that, or maybe you have a few mash bills and you've got some room to blend them so that you're somewhere in between. But like realistically,
yeah.
Right. And then we got to talking about like other ways, like how to have more flexibility in whiskey. We were talking about Canadian blending, and the 90.9% rule came up. Right.
Yeah, okay.
The idea that Canadian whiskey, not only is it always blended from different 100% distillates, they also are allowed to blend wine and whatever into whiskey.
It. Yeah. Up to 9.1%.
Up to a ratio of 10 to 1, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That 90.9 thing is because there's 11 parts, it's 10 to 1. One part can be non-whiskey.
Right.
I think it's way easier to think about like that. The percent thing is weird. But anyways, and then we started talking about like, okay, like when you're in American whiskey, the way that we solve this problem by putting flavor into whiskeys is by finishing casks. And you can put your whiskey in finishing cask after finishing cask after finishing cask, and that doesn't change its legal classification as whiskey.
No, they call it those casks.
Right. Cigar malt. Cigar blend. Yeah. If at some point, hypothetically, all those barrels were wet, and how dry does your barrel, like how wet can your barrel be? How dry does it have to be in order to be legally a finish instead of adding wine to your whiskey, right? Like at what point have we even exceeded the 90.9% rule in Canadian whiskey, right? They at least have put it into the law that there's a maximum.
Yeah, like there's a line that they decided. That's a rough question, because I know there's at least one product out there that is actually blended with port, and they still label it as whiskey.
Yep.
I mean, there is legitimately
dark rye.
They poured it in there, and it is still labeled as whiskey, and I don't believe it.
We're talking about like dark rye, right? Like the
basically dark rye.
What are they called?
Also, was that? Well, that one possibly as well, but there's another one that's in Kansas City that does that same exact thing.
Okay.
And it's more, sometimes it's up to 18%.
Wow.
18%, not like, so, okay, but here's the deal.
So if you got 100 gallons,
in those cases, they still say that
gallons could be
finished whiskey.
Or like they don't actually, it's like one of those fanciful names where like whiskey's in the name, but its type is actually
exactly
else,
like
specialty.
I don't know the TTB regulation for it. It's DSS probably, but like adding neutral grain spirit to it or something like that. But
that's the weird part, because like I feel, and this is my personal opinion, I feel like once it loses the ability to actually be whiskey, whether it be because it dipped below 40%, because it does not contain only grains, water, and yeast, and aged in oak, because of whatever, add something added afterwards, any of those things, I don't believe the word whiskey should be allowed on the label. Fireball, I don't believe whiskey should be allowed on the label.
No,
Screwball, I don't believe whiskey should be allowed on the label.
I agree. It's a concession for marketing purposes, but it runs afoul of the whole thing where the FDA is supposed to be protecting consumers against being misled.
Right. But
by misleading
the word whiskey on those labels is very, very misleading. I don't know how many people find out, like people I'm meeting or I work with or whatever, Like, oh, you're into whiskey? Yeah, I like whiskey too. Screwball's really good, or Fireball's really good. I said, yeah, it ain't whiskey though.
Yeah.
You know,
actually, credit where credit's due.
The taste of it, fine. If you like,
it's not whiskey, but Screwball is
for you.
surprisingly good for what it is.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying the flavors
not for what it is. Like every time I've had Screwball, I expect it to be worse, and it's actually pretty decent.
But it's not a Screwball and root beer, absolutely lovely.
Oh, that's great, dude.
Yeah,
it is. It's fantastic. It's not whiskey.
Pour some Screwball over some chocolate ice cream. Get yourself a nice peanut butter cup whiskey ice cream thing. Woo, dude.
See, therapy.
Sounds nice.
Why is it
Careful,
when you're
going to start talking about waffle recipes soon?
Yeah, exactly. Like how come when you're talking therapy and the next thing you know it goes to food or dessert or
because we cope with whiskey all the time, so we gotta find something else.
Food is therapy, obviously.
Yes,
obviously. Absolutely. You two twigs over there. What the hell? I literally ate 100 calories a day, and look like anyway. Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah. So we introduced the premise. Frontera's going away. I think we kind of assumed that.
Back to Frontera.
Let's get off the tangent.
Let's talk about Frontera. So we talked about Frontera's going away, and a lot of you are probably going like, wait, what? Either you already heard this or this is news to you. And if it's news to you, you're probably having the reaction we had initially, like, oh shit, why are they getting rid of like a great product, right? Opinions may vary. You may think it's one of their best. You may not. I happen to think it's one of their best, especially their most recent batch. They put like 5% mesquited malt in it because they've got two base malts. They've got unmesquited malts and mesquite-smoked malts. And the Frontera is like the classic, but finished in PX. Mm-hmm. And then you have like the Dorado, and then you have Ode to Isla. Now just Ode, but Ode, but mine says Ode to Isla, okay?
Yeah, mine
I don't need to scratch that out. I bought this. I'm gonna get my money's worth on that label.
Mine says Ode to Isla as well.
So they got the heavy mesquite malted ones, right? And then somewhere in between, and Mark was saying this past year at ACSA when we did that interview in person, they wanted to introduce a little bit of mesquite smoked character without it being like in your face mesquite smoked to most of the line of unmesquite smoked, right? The classic, the Frontera, possibly the Normandy.
Okay. So
I think we're going in the direction of like, okay, they're all going to have a bit of mesquite smoke, right? And now you're adding another layer of flavor into a range of product that actually, if anything, brings them a little bit closer to the rest of the portfolio. Mm-hmm. So like you're making those whiskeys better, but you're also narrowing the range of the portfolio, right? This is my color commentary, right? The reason Mark said Frontera is going away is because they're pruning the portfolio, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're doubling down on what sells well. The classic sells really well because it's a good price. There's nothing super fancy about it. It's good. It's not mesquite smoked, which helps the people who are a little bit put off by the idea of smoking their whiskey. Mm-hmm. And then they have Frontera, which gives you the same unsmoked style but sweeter, so you have a dessert whiskey now. And then they introduced Normandy, which is the Calvados cask finished classic, right? Which is, I should have grabbed that off my shelf too, which is also a sweet dessert style unmesquited whiskey, and it also has done way better in competitions.
It has.
It is consistently awarded really, really well. And as much as everybody loves Frontera, it hasn't performed as well. It is yet another single malt that's finished in PX. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of those on the market.
There is.
Yeah.
And so when they look at the whole portfolio and saying they want to make Ode and Normandy a regular part of their lineup, like move those things that do really well and they've been special releases and move them into the core lineup. And if they left Frontera in there, they'd have 5 core lineup whiskeys. Classic, Frontera, Normandy, Dorado, Ode to Isla. That's a lot. And like enthusiasts would be like, cool, gimme, like I'll buy more whiskey, right? But when you think about like a distillery is only going to sell so many units of product, and the further you spread those purchases across a portfolio, the more slack inventory you sit on, right? So we're looking at like, okay, what's good for the business is to not have too many core products. Something's got to go. And it's heartbreaking but
the
Frontera got chopped.
So with with that, Frontera gets chopped as a regular release, right? Okay, so it's not there. There is nothing that says that at some point in time the distillery will do a special release of a sherry finished whiskey from them. So it's not that you're never ever going to get PX sherry finished Del Bach again. That's not the case. It's just not going to be a regular product on the line all the time.
Right. Because there's also the distiller's cut, which unfortunately are distillery only and stuff like that, but they are not always, but like there's more often than not, they are using some sort of sherry, either Oloroso, PX, whatever. They'll use a small percentage of that and then sauternes and rum or whatever, just to make a weird amalgamation of a really excellent finished whiskey. So not saying that sherry's going away. It's just the ability to get a sherry finished on the shelf in local markets, obviously on the shelf at all times, is going away. Which for us who are like, yeah, we really like it and we want it, it kind of sucks. But at the same time, it does give more room, because we've talked about this in the past. The whiskey market, the glut, so to speak, is kind of hampering down on everybody. So you got to kind of cut your losses sometime. We've talked about foreclosures and things coming back online and all of the things, which is great and sad at the same time. But also you have to understand, like, whiskey will come back and everything will be fine. And that's why we're still doing this show. But also it's like, if you got to cut it out for 2 years, 3 years, and then you realize you get so much fan base saying, hey, we need Frontera back, and then you're like, hey, we'll just re-release it. It's not a big deal. Like cutting that, like if they were to say, we're only going to do our classic, that's all we're going to do, then that would be pause to be like, holy crap, what is going on? Because for me, as for me in my house, we love a smoked whiskey Del Bach. I'm sorry. That's me. Yeah, I love the classic. I love the classic. Don't get me wrong, but like that, the smoked with something going with it. Like I really like the Ode to Isla, obviously is excellent, but I don't know. For me, it's a big deal, but yeah,
I'm gonna blow out my palate, but we're doing it.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, the next one we're getting into will probably blow out your palate even more, so it's fine.
Oh, hey, do you want me to hold off on the Ode to Isla so we can actually do that and I don't have my palate?
That'd be great. That'd be great. You can side by side them later, because they might be somewhat similar. But like this one, it does make me sad, because obviously I don't want to see a SKU go away. But at the same time, when you have a SKU that, like you were saying, that is larger, the normal whiskey drinker is only going to pick one bottle. They're not going to pick all of them. So they're going to pick the one that suits them the best. And they're like, I want the sweet. The Calvados, obviously, I've been able to have a couple samples of it, but the Calvados obviously adheres to more people because of that apple sweetness. Whereas this is more of a raisiny, darker sweetness. And people like that fruitier sweetness with it. So I totally get it. So it's bye-bye to Frontera, but it's not bye-bye to Sherry. Sherry's going to be there. Sherry's big butt's going to be hanging around the distillery, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and I can tell you,
I feel attacked there, Randall. The normal whiskey drinker will only buy the one bottle. Am I not normal or what? Apparently not.
Listen, we're whiskey atypical, okay? We're whiskey.
Says the 500 open bottles you have behind you. No, you're not normal, fool. Everybody else buys one bottle of Jack Daniels and goes to the house.
Yeah, I mean, hey, before I got into reviewing whiskey, I only ever had a bottle of Wild Turkey 81 or Maker's Mark Basic, or occasionally Wild Turkey 101. Or like, I think I bought Jack Daniels once and I was like, that's actually not for me.
Right.
Like I had one bottle of whiskey and I finished it. And then I went and tried something else that was in the basic mid to bottom shelf rotation. Right. Like that's most whiskey drinkers, especially in the pre-pandemic world where most of your drinking, you go out and you have beers or cocktails.
Right.
You're not sitting on dozens of bottles of whiskey at home.
I'll be honest with you. I would say 90% of the whiskey drinkers they go to the same store. They go every Friday or every Thursday or every Wednesday or every Saturday. They grab the same amount of the same
not
bottle
Sundays in Texas.
every single time.
Yep.
And it never changes. And they don't explore and they don't try new things and they don't care about new distilleries. And then every once in a while, they'll get together with a group of their friends. They'll go out to a local distillery and they'll try some things, and it's not for them because it's not the same thing that they've had for the last 10 years.
Right. Or conversely, most people who usually just have one bottle of whiskey and they go replenish it when it's out, right? You have a party and then you go to the store and you rebuy that same whiskey, right? Most people who end up with more than one bottle of whiskey at home is because they went somewhere and they visited a distillery and they took it as a souvenir, right? A lot of people's whiskey is either basic stuff, and the stuff that's not basic is souvenir whiskey.
Yeah. And they're probably not going to open it because it was it's a showpiece. You know, I was in Nantucket when I bought that, and I'm not going to open it. It was what
I was in Nantucket and I spent $300.
Exactly. It was $700.
You're crazy. We're not opening that.
You were in Nantucket and got out of there without only spending $300. I mean, that means you didn't buy an ice cream cone.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't go to the bathroom. You didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were ever wondering why the Notch is so expensive, don't go visit Nantucket.
If you've ever been to Nantucket, you know exactly what I mean. If you are considering going to Nantucket,
brace yourself.
Brace yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is not an inexpensive trip. I mean, the ferry across is astronomical in and of itself. I mean, that's a crazy high priced ferry across. And then you get there and it's like, okay, cool. What do you do? I don't think there's anything to do that's under $100 for one person.
I'm sure.
I mean, anything like ice cream cones are $25.
I'm going to be in the locale and I was thinking about going to visit Triple A.
I would love to.
You're making me double.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to.
Research first. You know what I mean? Research, prepare. Just prepare. That's all. I mean, if you're well prepared for it, it's going to be fine. If you go there expecting to be like, you know, you went to Madeline Island on the ferry, you know what I mean? You're going to be shell shocked for sure.
Lord.
All right, so
German reminds me from the Midwest.
Yeah, I am. We talked about blowing out pallets. What are we blowing it out with here, Randall?
Okay, so
quick question, Randall, before we get into what you just sent us. I have another box from you from a little bit earlier. I have a Whiskey Del Bach Distillers cut in there. Does Germ also have this box?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I might not have sent him it.
The last one you sent me was tequila, which I did drink, by the way.
Thank you. Because here's the deal. I get sent. I don't know if you guys know Doc Martinez from Old Fashioned Ways. I have a box over here of probably 30 to 40 samples he sent me last week. And so I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I have so many samples from him that like I can't even get. And so he sent me a whole pack of tequila, and I'm like, bro, I can't even get through brown spirits, let alone white and semi-dark
beige,
beige-ish. You know,
I've had whiskeys lighter than this tequila.
I agree. I agree that.
By the way, this is
Tears of Urona.
Yeah. Ask Doc which batch this was, because this was absolutely outstanding. This Tears of Urona.
Hold on, Tears.
I have a flask of Tears.
So do I. They're right next to my.
That's excellent tequila, and they only release one batch a year. And it's very expensive.
Tears batch number. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so forget about the previous box. We know we all have the box today.
Well, I don't because I
can look. I have samples from Randall from several boxes in a row.
Absolutely. Don't because
some true samples all of that fast.
Believe me, I understand. I can't either. I literally have them sitting.
That's why he's sending them. He's sending them so that he can get rid of the liquid.
Help me get rid of this whiskey. Let's go back a second. How blessed are we as human beings on this earth to be able to have an abundance of whiskey to just be like, here, take this, please. You know, because here's the deal. If I let this whiskey, which is, that far down, not very much. I opened this with Mark on the podcast that I had with them and have had 1 or 2 little samples out of it. Right. How long is this going to last on my shelf? You know, like I don't want to let it sit there for 3 years.
8 years.
Yeah. I don't want to let it sit there for 2 years and oxidize the shit out of it. And then next thing you know, it just tastes like crap. Right. So I got to get it out. I got to get it out in a timely fashion. So in saying that, I sent both of you guys a sample pack, slightly different though. I think the last whiskey on the list was different for each one of you. And there's a reason for that.
Okay.
But one of the ones I sent over was something close and near and dear to my heart, Andalusia Whiskey Company, their Rick House series. But this is a single batch. And this was a pour your own from the barrel type whiskey. It even has my little logo down at the bottom. And so this is obviously a single malt whiskey, 100% US peat. They're not getting peat from Ireland. They're actually getting it from the Midwest and making it themselves. They get the dirt and make little clods out of it and smoke it themselves. And this was put in a used barrel, which happened to be a Striker, which is their wood smoked whiskey, a used Striker barrel. And it's 36 months old and 56% alcohol. I thought this would be something a little different because this is the first time they've used 100% US peat. So let's see if it's any good.
Okay, cool. So then my question is, what percentage of the barley is smoked?
100%.
They smoked all the barley for this one because their normal revenant is like in that 70-ish.
Yes.
Now and it was even lighter prior to.
Yes, absolutely. Now it's 70. It used to be about 30. And they've ramped it up the past, I think, year and a half. And so the new batches that are fixing to come out of Revenant, and maybe they had a couple, they did some specialty like super smoked or whatever. They've kind of blended those into some of their newer batches that are coming out. The Revenant Oak is not their highest seller. So it kind of sits around. Striker, obviously the wood smoked one is their number one seller because
seriously, that's crazy to me. I would think triple distilled was, but okay.
Well, triple distilled, it hits for certain people. For other people, it's too light, but it's also too grainy. So they, you know, they're like, it's not like Irish, but it's also not like a regular single malt either. So for this one, obviously the color's pretty light in it being 3 years in a used barrel. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy. I have only had like 1 or 2 sips out of this because why not?
I can smell it.
Should I pour the other one too and let it air out?
It is 2 feet away from me.
Which one? The
wheat,
the Wate whiskey. You can pour that if you want. I don't have it here with me, but this is Doug. You do realize this is an American Single Malt show, right?
Yeah, this is not ASM. This is wheat whiskey, which I do want to talk to you about this.
Absolutely.
Is it wheat whiskey in the traditional sense, or is this 100% wheat?
No, it is 51% wheat, 49% malted barley. Oh. And so this is a whiskey club exclusive. And so if you're not part of the whiskey club, you don't get it. And it is 62% alcohol and aged 52 months in a used barrel because so when I talked to Moose, when I went and hand pulled this bottle, I took a day off of work, went and hung out with Moose. If you don't know Moose, he's the head distiller over at Andalusia, and he showed me through all the things. I went on a tour, helped him with a tour and stuff like that. And he said, this whiskey I just wanted to try something different. And he's like, we've never done wheat. We tried to do corn one time. We tried to do rye one time, and it totally screwed up our machine. Wheat was the next thing. And so now they have new equipment in the back, and it's, they have a mash turner and all the things, a lauter bin, all the things. So they could probably do rye or corn. They don't know if they're going to at this point, but they said wheat. Why not? Why not do a wheat whiskey and make it an exclusive bottling? And I thought, who better to share that with than my 2 buddies here? So nobody else is going to get to try that because, like I said, it is distillery exclusive. You have to be part of the club. But anyway, getting back to this one, 100% US peat, which obviously people don't think that peat comes from the United States. They think it comes from Ireland or Scotland. But there's a lot of peat bogs in Louisiana, obviously, and actually in the Midwest.
There's a crazy stat that I found somewhere that like 70% of the surface of the earth that's land, not so exclude the water, just the land, 70% of the land contains peat. So peat is everywhere. Like whether you recognize it or not.
Peat is pre-coal, is pre-oil.
Yeah.
We know all those fossil fuels are under there, right? Like it might be buried. Like you've heard of peat moss, right? Like I think people forget, like actually the biggest market for peat is gardening.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch more of the actual peat bogs that are out there are either in protected lands, national forest, blah, blah, blah.
Because it's usually wetlands.
Yeah.
So
right. It's protected wetlands or something, right? And so like a lot of it is just not available to be harvested.
Right.
But a lot of what is harvested is used for gardening. It's used for soil. So I always laugh when people are like, oh, you know, we're burning peat and making whiskey with peat is, you know, like, okay, in an absolute sense, it's not as green as you could be.
Right.
But so is just like the concept of making whiskey in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? Like, unless you're talking about literally this grain existed already, it's going to go bad. So we got to do something with it. So we'll put some energy into processing it and have it be a shelf stable product for a while. But you know, 99% of whiskey that exists in the world is being made for luxury purposes.
Absolutely.
None of this had to exist. And so whiskey by definition is not particularly green. But you know what's really not green? Private jets. So until we start addressing the private jets problem, can we get off our backs about peat?
Freaking Taylor Swift. Come on, bro. What are you doing?
I did not expect Doug to go there at all. Do you know what's not green? Private jets. And tangent number 2. Here we go.
Hey, we're only an hour and 2 minutes in, okay?
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. And that's the thing.
To the whiskey.
Go ahead.
Beautiful nose. I haven't tasted it yet. I love the nose. It's
get in there. It is.
It's not smoky at all. I am not picking up smoke in the slightest sense of the word.
Slightly disagree. I do get a slight amount of smoke. I'm really glad I didn't go for Ode to Isla before.
Absolutely. I'm glad you didn't either, because I get smoke on the nose too. So
this gives me smoke about on the same level as I get smoke from Solom, right? Like it's there, but you might not call it smoke if you didn't know it was smoky. You might be like, there's something scotchy about that, right? Like it's got that malt funky character, but it's different. It's not Isla peat. It's not Highland heather peat. It's not Pacific Northwest peat, but you know, really that's only Westland, right? It's something different again. You know, when it first occurred to me, like, oh, I want to write a book about American single malt whiskey, and then went on this giant side quest of having a podcast.
Right.
One of the things that like I was like, okay, I know what like a third of the book is going to be an exploration of like all the peat in the United States, or like that is like all the styles of smoked whiskey that are coming out of the United States. And then somehow I feel like I got halfway down that road and then just stopped, right? There's Midwest peat and like North Dakota peat. I believe Andalusia gets theirs from North Dakota, right? And then there's like, are you importing peat from Scotland or Ireland? Somebody's importing from Ireland, right? I think Andalusia also is importing.
They did for a while, yeah.
Yeah, that was their peat source for a while.
And then there's that funky distillery in Maine that's doing, you know, Maine peat and seaweed smoked whiskey, right?
Hey, I'm in.
Mesquite smoked, cherrywood smoked, hardwood smoked, right? Like, give me smoke every which way. And the funny thing is, 90% of American distilleries just don't smoke whiskey.
No, they don't.
Even narrowing it down to American single malt, I'd say 80% of them don't smoke whiskey. This is a very unscientific number. Who knows what the statistics are? But it's like the vast majority just don't do smoked whiskey. That's true in Scotland too. And yet, when you're a peat fiend, it's easy to say like, okay, I'm just going to ignore anybody who doesn't have smoke. I only want to talk to people who have smoky whiskey. Thankfully, I've grown out of that.
Yeah. You kind of have to, because then you're You're very narrow in your bandwidth, right?
We
You're
talk
like,
to 30
okay,
people. Okay, we're done.
yeah, I'm done with this job. I
How
guess.
about, do you want to come back now? Because we're full circle.
Round 7 with X Distillery. Yeah.
Well, you make that joke, and I've been realizing in 2026, after having done 2 years of the podcast, that there's 35 or so distilleries that I've represented on my show, and it feels increasingly heavier mentally to add more to that number. Right? It's so tempting to go back and talk with Caitlin Bartlemay again, because I love the shit out of McCarthy's.
Amen.
It's so tempting to have Amanda Beckwith back on for the 3rd time, to have Murphy Quint back on for the 3rd time, to have Mark back on it would be my 3rd interview with him, but I think only the 2nd on my podcast. Like, I could go back to all these people and I could just make the rounds once a year.
Yep.
But that's not serving the audience. That's not bringing more American single malt to more people.
Right.
But it's also, the smaller the distillery is that you're going after, the harder it is to kind of pull them out and do a media thing. So the scheduling has gotten harder at a time where hard is hard for me in my life. Like, this is a bad time for the podcast to be harder.
But it's also, and I'm going to give you these my words of wisdom for you, which aren't wise at all, but just take them. It's also a time of growth, right? Because it gives you that little bit extra to where you're like, okay, this is a hard time. We're going through this, and then the perseverance to push through it. Whatever, we're not talking about the struggles, obviously, but like whatever the issue is, and I will tell you, and we didn't have this issue when we had Matt McGinnis on. He was like, yeah, let's do the thing. But like getting people to get on your show and actually commit and actually do the thing and actually return an email or they'll be like, yeah, that sounds cool. And then 6 months later, you're like, okay, you're ghosting me, or you've already had it scheduled and they just flake out on you at the last minute. It happens. And you have to understand that, somebody told me a long time ago, nobody's thinking about you. Just understand nobody's thinking about you. But I want to counter,
not to take that personally.
Absolutely. But at the same time, me being the positive man that I am, there's people that are thinking about you. I'm sorry, there are. And I can tell you in this group of three guys and one grain, we talk about each other.
Grain?
I don't know. It's somewhere. We talk about each other quite a bit. And this is a uplifting place that we just kind of do what needs to be done to make each other be able to get through the next day. And if it shows in the show, great. But if we do that if we do that off camera and nobody ever sees that, great as well. Because here's the deal. I want to be 100% genuine in everything that I do, and I know my fellow colleagues do as well. So that is all we are trying to do. We are trying to present a product to you from the bottom of our heart, from a consumer point. And if you like it, great. If you don't, there's go watch somebody else. It's fine.
Just somebody else. Go watch Randall's other content.
Lemon Ricola. Lemon mint Ricola.
Oh, he went there.
We're yapping and Germ is doing tasting notes.
No, it's fine.
This thing
he needs to.
It's really intriguing to me. The nose on this is absolutely wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
it's lemon, it's mint, it's a very slight hint of eucalyptus.
Mm-hmm. It's almost rye. Yes. It's almost rye-like, right?
I'm
almost
still not picking up smoke. I can taste and I can smell the peat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get like smoke at all. No smoke.
No, it's just
there's an earthy medicinal thing that doesn't quite reach into the smoky territory. It's just like the good side of cough medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of hardwood smoke a little bit, but earthier.
There's a minerality wow, I can talk. There's a minerality property here that's just it's right on. It's not Flintstone vitamin minerality.
No,
it's not fish food minerality. It is just the right level of your water's mineral level is just spot on and it tastes so good today. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yep. I feel like there's a rooibos tea in this too.
I could see that.
I've never had a rooibos tea, so I couldn't.
It's a real solid decaf. If you ever had like an herbal tea that's like it's like a raspberry, like they have like those like sleepy time teas and that sort of like wind down decaf teas and whatever. When it's not made with the tea plant, they usually need to put something in there as a base. A lot of the times it's actually rooibos if you look at the label. And it's this sort of like it's a red tea. It looks like little tiny like chopped up pine needles or something. And it has this like slightly earthy, slightly medicinal is the wrong word, slightly red fruit kind of quality to it. It goes really well with raspberry and like strawberry and that sort of thing. They tend to put, chances are you have had rooibos. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Tangent on the tea. You probably have had rooibos tea before.
You have. Yeah.
Does McDonald's sweet tea count?
Yes.
As rooibos? I don't think so. I think that's just regular old tea, regular black tea.
That's Lipton's, fool.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's Lipton. I think
no, it's probably not Lipton's. It's generic. Right. It's Timu Lipton's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from wit.com.
Oh Lord.
This is really, really beautiful, Randall.
It is.
Yeah.
Moose is an absolute evil genius, and I know he probably wasn't 100% behind this decision, but he probably had some nudges in there to be like, hey, do this, hey, do this, hey, do this.
You were saying he messed up the equipment doing a couple of things, and then the wheat was like the third time. I'm at some point, I love that Ty gives Moose so much latitude, but I feel like at some point Ty's got to go like, okay, I think we need to reel it in a little.
Well, and I think that's what happened like with the brandy, because they were going hard and heavy on the brandy. And I know this isn't a brandy show, and I don't even drink the brandy. So just understand that. But like they were putting like the grappa, like the actual great skins and stuff in there. And it was screwing up their fermenters and doing all this stuff. And they just spent a whole lot of money on new fermenters and stuff like that. And it was getting stuck to the sides. They had to crawl in there and like pressure wash them out. And he's like, okay, here's the deal. We need to use wine. Only wine, because you're going to screw up everything. So it's one of those things. And I don't know if this is public knowledge, so I'm not going to say it. Never mind. Anyway, it's a
what aren't you going to say?
Okay, no, I think it is public knowledge.
Well, we can cut it out too.
Well, so, also he said it during a tour, so I think it is public knowledge. He is having issues with his liver, so he is no longer drinking anymore. So the issue with being a head distiller and the master blender and all of the other things is you have to drink the whiskey. So he sips it and spits it, which, okay, there's nothing wrong with spitting out your whiskey, right? I will say if you have a problem, obviously that's a thing, but also if you have health problems, that is a thing. You can still enjoy whiskey and not fully partake in it. But I feel, and this is a personal preference, that if you're going to be a master blender, master distiller, there is something with the retronasal of drinking the whiskey and having it kind of all in your olfactories and into that, what they call the Kentucky hug, which we're not in Kentucky, but you know what I mean? That hug that goes down. There's something to say about that. Now, I know I've talked to many people that say, I don't even drink the whiskey, or I don't even smell the whiskey, or whatever, and I do fine tasting notes on it. Okay, that's fine. But I feel like it's kind of a full gamut type thing. Like if you're not going to fully commit, then you're only going to get 90% there or 75% there. I don't know. That's just my 2-bit answer to it. But it does make me sad that, obviously health-wise, we all understand that, like you said, whiskey is a luxury. It is a luxury. And, in case you didn't know, it is an alcohol, which is a poison. So understanding that and taking the precautions for that. And one of the things that I don't know if you guys, but I know I do, and I'm sure you do as well, is we don't condone overindulgence or any of those things. We want to do this in a safe manner to where, we all got jobs. We all got things we have to do after this. So I don't ever want it to become the forefront of life, right? And so I get where he's like, man,
this is the spice of life.
Absolutely. This is the salt to taste on the top, right? But when you have an issue like that where it becomes a health concern, it's time to take a step back. But if you're the head distiller, you still got to do your job. So obviously he has other people in the distillery where he's like, I think this is off, try it, blah, blah, blah. But not only him, but Tommy, the other owner of the company, and one of the guys in the bartender, they all can't have it. So it makes it very difficult when you have a small crew. They have like 6 guys that work there and 3 of them are bartenders, so it's like, it makes it very difficult. Now the product's still going to be just as good, obviously, because once you've been doing it for a while and you consistently do the same thing over and over again, it'll be fine. Like they'll figure it out. At that point, you work on proof points and stuff like that, and you make it good. But anyway, I say all that to say, obviously, whiskey is a thing, and you got to make sure that you
lose the signal.
Froze.
Got to make sure that you lose the signal.
Dude, that's actually a really good place to cut the video at. That's the end of the episode right there.
That was it? Like, what happened?
You froze. You said, I say all that to say whiskey's the thing, and you just got to, and it was dead frozen. And I'm like, that is the perfect ending to the episode right there. Just boom, black screen, Soprano style. Just be done.
Absolutely. Okay, so enough said.
No,
Moving on.
You got to finish that thought because we did miss the end of it.
I don't even remember. Like, just understand that we all have our limits and we all have to do within our means. And they're still going to continue to create great products. And I'm going to go. I'm actually helping them out this weekend. It'll be after this is aired, but whatever. And I'm going to help them out, pull some samples for them and stuff like that, just to give another look at their whiskey, just to help out as much as I can. I know it's a hard job, and I feel I hate to do it, but at the same time, I want to see small distilleries get big, especially something that's doing something as cool as 100% US peat. So,
yeah, Andalusia, I think, as long as we were talking earlier about superlatives, like who's the heaviest, who's the lightest. You want to talk about like by volume small distillery that casts the largest shadow. I think it's got to be Andalusia.
Mm-hmm.
It's up there for sure.
The Copperworks is close, but Copperworks is bigger as a distillery.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
like Andalusia is like, okay, once you know that they're there, you cannot ignore them anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
If you don't know that they're there, please familiarize yourself and stop ignoring them because they're fantastic.
Yeah.
They are starting to become more readily available online in different places as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We got our friends at Big Thirst have at least had some, might still have some.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Lost Lantern carries them occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can buy it right from them. And they up their website. That used to be just the 3 core products, and now you can buy other things on their website as well. So yeah, they're up in their game a little bit. Please don't ignore or sleep on Andalusia anymore.
Yep.
Get yourself some.
Absolutely.
It's good stuff.
Absolutely. What else?
I poured myself a bit more of this one because it's so good.
It is. It's delicious.
Germ.
Yes, sir.
I would invite you to side by side this with a little bit of that Glenlivet illicit still. I think there's a tasting note in here that I think they have in common.
We're talking about the Andalusia.
Yeah, the Andalusia Rickhouse series that we're drinking, and put this next to the Glenlivet. I keep saying Glenlivet illicit still. Which remind me which sample that was. I got the 3 samples here.
You'll have to remind me. I don't freaking know. How do you expect me to remember which sample is which?
Okay, fine.
No, I will look. You were. Let's see.
You got the bottle. All I have to do is look up my spreadsheet.
Was that your last show?
Yeah.
Deke and Doug illicit still sample number 3.
Okay. there was one in there I was trying to like find a word for that.
One of the samples or a tasting note in illicit still?
A tasting note in the illicit still.
Okay. I think that illicit still is partially classic Glenlivet, ramped up and better. Like it's more gritty, it's more grimy, it's more. This is what Glenlivet used to be. This is where we started before we decided to chill filter and color and go to 40%.
Are they column stilling as well?
No, yeah.
Okay.
In order to be a single malt in Scotland, it has to be a pot.
Oh yeah. No, you're right.
If it goes through a column, it's now a single grain.
Doesn't
matter if it's 100% barley or not.
Got it.
Wasn't it like Loch Lomond single grain is actually just 100% single malt through the column still?
Loch Lomond is very, very, very much does that a lot. It's 100% malted barley, goes through a column still, so they call it a single grain. Yeah, they do that a lot.
Yep.
So on the nose specifically, and like they're not that similar side by side. Like you definitely get like, okay, that's definitely Speyside style, whereas the Andalusia is Central Texas, right? But on the nose, there's this warm, slightly funky, like almost farmy kind of thing.
Okay.
A little bit sulfury kind of thing, right? And when I picked that up on the Andalusia, I was like, I know where I've smelled that before. Recently, it was that Glenlivet illicit still.
If I remember correctly, this illicit still is not distilled at the Glenlivet distillery per normal. It is distilled somewhere else. Still Glenlivet people.
And they must have done the thing where they like transitioned their production license over to another facility in order to still be able to call it a Glenlivet single malt. Similar to how they do the DSP changes in some of those distilleries in Kentucky or wherever.
DSP 12 and DSP 198 or whatever. Yeah. I'm looking at you, E.H. Taylor. What?
Doesn't say on here. Right? Where it might have been me looking up to see if I could figure out all the stuff that I needed for the show. But I thought I saw somewhere where they distilled this in like a bothy.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
So,
for the uninitiated, Germ, what is a bothy?
A bothy is like a little hut in the middle of Scotland somewhere. In America,
Ralphie made famous.
Yep. In America, we would call them a yurt. It's if you know what a yurt is, that's going to be kind of like a bothy. A bothy is
somehow I feel like you'd be less likely. Like if you don't know what a bothy is, you probably don't know.
You don't know what a yurt is either.
So a yurt is more.
Wait, what?
More
a yogurt?
American.
Is that where Yoda comes from?
Yes. A bothy is a little bit more of a permanent structure than a yurt.
It's kind of like a stone cabin, right?
Stone and mud and grass roof type of deal. Just
think hobbits.
Yep, hobbits. And a lot of times they're places where, like, when you're backpacking the Scottish Highlands, you're gonna run into a bothy and you're gonna spend the night. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Like nobody lives there. It's just a place with a roof that you can go inside and get some shelter.
Okay, so it's very similar to the German style settlers that settled my region. They would call them Sunday houses. And basically it was a house to where you lived way out of town and you would come into town and stay in your Sunday house just to go to church, right? You go to church with everybody and you'd stay in your Sunday house and then you go back to the house on Monday because you were, cart and buggy, whatever.
Sure.
And it's very similar to that. It's just a very basic structure, just, 4 walls and a roof. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know if a lot of these bothies have 4 walls. I think it might be one circular building a lot of times. Obviously some of them are probably built square where they have 4 walls. But I think a circular is very common as well.
Wow. Okay. You didn't know you were going to get a history lesson as well.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. You got to ask Germ what he knows, because Germ knows things.
Yeah. He drinks whiskey and knows things.
I do.
For sure.
I try. So, where are we at here, guys? What are we doing? We talked about our barrel pick coming up.
Yep.
Talked very good potential. It's not 100%, but we're leaning pretty heavy on yes.
We are.
We talked about some Frontera going away. We talked about some Andalusia Whiskey Company. We did a little tasting notes on a couple different things. What do we got next here?
Well, the only other thing that I had, they just had the World Whiskey Awards in 2026, and it would surprise you. The best American single malt winner was none other than Hinterhaus Distilling out of California for their Singularity Expression. Now, this is it was non-age stated, but it is a port cask finished, which is one of our pick things, and it won best.
Yeah, just as the second you say it's not very common, all of a sudden you start turning up every example.
Absolutely. That's normally how it goes. One of the other cool things that I saw online was Virginia Distilling Company, who we know and love, unveiled their 3 limited edition whiskeys, including the First Cut cigar blend, which we talked about a little bit earlier, aged a minimum of 7 years. And then 2 new stout cask finishes that they're doing. And Hinterhaus is actually releasing their Singularity as out to the public. It was distillery only, and now they're releasing it out to the public. It'll probably be after this, before this show is on the air, February 27th, 2026. So if you want one, get one. Oh, and also Heaven Hill is officially entered in planning future releases of American single malt. So get ready for some of that. It's going to be great because, the big boys have always done really well with American single malt.
They do excel. They
run
it through that.
Very well.
So one thing I'll say about that is, so now that that's public knowledge, I can also say Sydney Jones, who used to work for Few, has been working at Heaven Hill for the last year and a bit. And last time I saw her, she told me that they were working on some American single malt. And I said, okay, when you're getting ready to release that, I want to have you back on my show to talk about your new efforts in American single malt at Heaven Hill, because that would be super cool. So keep an eye on Single Malt Frontier for that interview coming up sometime this year. I'm sure I can manage it sometime this year.
Sometime this year.
I don't want to be negative or a naysayer here, but I don't hold out high hopes for this single malt being good.
I think that's a fair skepticism.
I like Heaven Hill bourbon. I do. I love Elijah Craig barrel proof. I love Larceny. Bernheim, not as much.
I'm okay on Larceny. But I like Elijah Craig.
That's more of a flavor discrepancy than it is a bad whiskey thing. But out of all of the big people, all the big brands that released American single malt, the one that I want and I'm waiting for is Maker's Mark. I would love to see Maker's Mark drop an American single malt.
Yep.
I don't know why. I mean, a part of it is because I know they use big pot stills. I know they're a little bit more on the Scotch. Well, they were. I don't know if it's still in that same realm, but they were a little bit more on the Scottish background in life. So that's the one that I would like to see come out from a big brand.
And out of all the brands, it's I've even heard more from the possibility of Wild Turkey being in single malt than I have from Maker's Mark.
Yeah, right. Maker's Mark doesn't change. They don't vary much. I mean, it was like
so. If they are sitting on single malt, they've been sitting on it very quietly.
Yeah,
and for very long.
And if they only started making single malt when the ratification happened, then we could be waiting a few more years, and they're still being very quiet about it. But I doubt they would release it.
Maker's Mark is this summer is going to drop some like 20-year-old single malt.
I'd be there for it. You know, like you see behind me, like,
let's go.
Yeah.
What bourbon brand do I display behind me all the time?
Founder Series single malt.
I'm a big fan of Maker's Mark.
Yeah, I love Maker's Mark. It's great. It's great.
I think it's great whiskey.
And to caveat to that point, like if these big brands are creating American single malt, it doesn't hurt the category at all, unless it sucks, obviously.
Unless you're Claremont Steep, which thankfully doesn't have a big brand name on it.
Exactly.
That's the thing about it. It's like, it creates a hype about American single malt. I do agree, though, that people that are not into it, they're like, oh, I love Jim Beam, and they just dropped an American single malt, and they go out and buy it, and like, this thing is shit. I will never buy another American single malt because the brand that I love the most makes a bad one.
No, there is that as well.
I mean,
there is that.
Jim Beam, I'm sorry. I love Booker's. I love your peanut profile. That American single malt was an abomination that should not have. You should actually go and pull that from the shelves anywhere where it is.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's not like it is a large smudge on the category, like by volume.
Right? No.
But it does exist. It's the sort of thing where you could stumble upon like, oh, I like Beam. Oh, I heard Beam made a single malt. Oh, this is shit. Single malt must be terrible.
Yeah, right. That's what that's
the thing. It's the thing that risks materially harming the category, but it's not a guarantee. It's good. It's a good thing they didn't put the name Beam on it because it could have been so much worse.
Yeah, yeah. For those of you that like Claremont Steep, I'm sorry that we trash it. If you like it, you like it. I'm not.
I think we respectfully. I think we're
any of that. If you like it, you like it. I
think we're good about being respectful about it. You know, like we're not.
I thought the Yellowstone single malt was horrible. I thought that Yellowstone one was horrible, and lots of people really like that because it's very easy to drink. Okay,
right. I actually reviewed that one. I don't do a lot of reviews anymore, but I did review that one, and I thought it was a solid okay by me. Like,
oh, see, it was not even okay to me.
Nothing exciting about it.
I actually liked Claremont Steep better than the Yellowstone.
Whew, that's it. Okay, disagree. Agree to disagree.
Those are fight
Yellowstone. Yellowstone had nothing wrong with it, is the thing. Like Yellowstone just tastes like bourbon. Like it's slightly malty bourbon, like a high malt.
It's not even malty. It's not even malty.
If you put it up next to a bourbon,
like Traveler.
Yeah.
But
if you put it up next to a
they
bourbon,
came by with a cask drink. That's fine.
Yeah, but like you could do so much worse, and I think stale crab cakes from Claremont Steep is the worst. It's the worst case scenario. Just like things that it's not just off grain flavors, right? Like say what you will about crafty whiskey having their raw grain flavors, but like when something tastes like a piece of meat went bad.
Ooh.
It is moldy ass grain is what that is.
That is a quality issue. That is like when you talk about faulty whiskey.
Welcome to the section of the show where we talk negative about things. We don't do this
respectfully.
How about this? Now
we love all whiskey.
we are talking about products that we dislike, actively dislike. Yellowstone, Claremont Steep.
We're pouring one out for Frontera.
The Jack Daniels
Frontera deserves to exist, and here are products that don't deserve to exist.
Right,
exactly.
For any of you guys that liked that Jack Daniels single malt, I'm sorry, you are completely wrong. That was horrible.
I feel about the same about the Jack Daniels as I feel about the Yellowstone. It is only okay, and for the price you pay, that's a very sad thing.
Anywho, the question came to me. What if these big companies, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, Yellowstone, whatever, they're purposefully putting out bad American single malts to smudge the category?
It's collusion.
I'm not going to say I agree with the conspiracy theory, but I'm going to say
bourbon is not going to suffer from this.
That conspiracy theory does not have many holes. Let's put it that way. Does it hold water? Yes, it does. because they also tried to shoot down the used cask publicly. If you the comments aren't available anymore, and I really wish I had downloaded the whole set of them while they were, but on the TTB proposal in the public comment period, you could read everybody else's comments, and every comment that came in from one of the big distilleries that wasn't making an American single malt, because some of them were, and they're like, yes, we approve this, we want this to happen, like we think we should be. The correct take on American single malt, as far as I'm concerned, from a business perspective, is the rest of the world makes single malt, and we are American whiskey makers, and we have pride in being American, and we recognize that there is a global conversation to be had here, and we can make single malt the American way, and we want to be part of defining what that is. I think that is the correct take. And then the incorrect take, and I'm putting my thumb heavy on the scale here. The incorrect take was all the people who said, we need it to be as much like bourbon as possible because that's what defines American whiskey. It has to be new oak. It has to have a certain number of years on it, blah, 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 blah. And they just wanted everything to be exactly like bourbon. They publicly were trying to shut down the recommendation that allowed for used casks. And it wouldn't surprise me that for some reason, and I don't get it, I strategically don't understand why you would want to not allow for used casks. New casks are more expensive. If you're a bourbon brand making bourbon, you've got casks that you're going to throw away or sell for pennies on the dollar.
Right.
Why wouldn't you want to make a second luxury whiskey product? Because single malt's always going to be a luxury whiskey product. Malt is expensive.
It is.
Why wouldn't you want to make a second luxury product for a barrel that was effectively trash to you?
So let's think about that. So Jim Beam, giant bourbon producer, produces lots of empty bourbon barrels. Who owns them? Suntory. What else does Suntory own? Lots of companies out there that want to use ex-bourbon barrels. So, okay, so now we already have our place to go with those barrels, and it stays in-house. We don't lose a dime. You know, Jack Daniels sells every single one of those barrels to somebody.
And they do have a market for them, and some of that market is domestic. Virginia Distillery Company buys Jack Daniels barrels.
Yep. And a lot of them go to Scotland. A lot of them go to Ireland. A lot of them go to the islands for rum. I mean, they're covered. They're good, right?
And you know what's really great about Jack Daniels being such a neutral tasting bourbon? It doesn't impart any funky flavors on all those better products.
Right.
Correct.
Could I be any more spicy with that take?
Well, you know,
Jack Daniels sucks.
Jack Daniels is smooth.
Jack Daniels is smooth.
However, we're gonna go to Kentucky to make my brand because I sing about Tennessee whiskey, and I quit drinking.
But yet, it's blended with 35% Canadian whiskey. I'm sorry,
and vodka.
Wait, who? What?
Yeah, Traveler.
And it's neutral grain spirit with Canadian whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Oh, because I always think about Benchmark, which is the Buffalo Trace. Like for some reason in my brain, Benchmark and Traveler are the same thing, but they're not.
They're not, but they're not far off from each other. Yeah. All right. So we are getting tangentially off topic, which is okay because that's fine. But I have to go put my kids to bed because single dadding over here.
All right.
So let's wrap this up.
Wrap it up
with saying, I would say that American single malt to me is, we're a little over a year after designation day, and everything seems to be going up and up. There's some things that are happening, obviously, with Frontera and some other things happening out there in the market. But looking forward, you have bigger brands wanting to get in the market, which could hurt, but potentially helps the whole brand. And then you have people like us, like a small little thing that are trying to do a freaking pick of American single malt, which only gives American single malt that little bit of a step up. Because between the three of us, we have like 4 avid followers right? So it's
easy 4, maybe 5.
Easy 4, maybe 5. Yeah, you're right. I can call my brother-in-law. He'll probably buy a bottle just because he doesn't even like whiskey. He's more into like Grey Goose, but anyway, he'll probably buy a bottle just because your family. But it really makes me feel good to know that we are able to have time together and talk about what we want to talk about, but yet still keep it lighthearted enough to where we're like, it doesn't freaking matter. Like this is so minuscule in the world. There's a lot of crap going on. We're not going to talk about that, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. And the fact that we get to share a dram together as friends, and be it American single malt, be it a Scotch, be it whatever you want to drink good whiskey. I don't care what it is. And if you're coming into the show, and you've never had an American single malt, why not? Get out there and try some. I'm sure there's one locally, within 100 miles of you or so that you can find. It might not be the best, but guess what? Keep trying. And don't think everything is Claremont steep, because there's some great American single malts out there that you can find. Go try them, and peace. No,
I genuinely want to know if there's anybody out there who's probably never going to see this video.
Right.
But I genuinely want to know if there's anybody out there whose only experience with American single malt is Claremont Steep or Jack Daniel's ASM, which I think is more likely.
Right.
That's more likely.
That is more likely. Because Jack Daniel's has a higher, I feel like.
Well, Jack Daniel's has Jack Daniel's label on it. It's recognizable.
Right.
Claremont,
which means that they at least felt like that was a good product. They were willing to put their name behind.
Right. Exactly.
I didn't think it was a good product. He came out and said it's a bad product. We had to throw it in a sherry cask.
Yeah, because malt is a grain that needs some help, and I'm never going to let them live that quote down.
Needs some help.
No.
Yeah.
They need
oh my god.
help.
I couldn't be more offended. All of Scotland rolled over.
Absolutely.
Stop chucking your white dog on Kingsford charcoal and throwing it in New Oak. Let's start there.
Oh Lord.
Where did we go?
Process. Where did we go?
All right. I want to just rapid fire throw you guys a quick challenge.
Yes.
Name a bottle of whiskey, of an American single malt whiskey, that doesn't get talked about enough. Or is new, or is real small, just like something you want to add a little bit of attention to. State Line Distillery, excellent.
This is a State Line Distillery American single malt whiskey from Madison, Wisconsin. This is on the back of the label. I will just read it. Wisconsin malted barley and Scottish peated malt. New and used American white oak. Color is golden amber. Aroma, dried stone fruit, honey, and peat. Palate, pecans, vanilla bean, and charred oak. Finish, toasted marshmallow, cocoa, and tobacco. I don't agree with all of these tasting notes, but a majority of them are there. They do make this in-house in their small distillery in Madison. It's a beautiful, funky little place. They just released a rye whiskey not too long ago, but this was the only whiskey they made, and they do focus on clear spirits a lot. This is a fantastic whiskey. I'm so happy that they decided to use peat with their single malt. It really, really comes out good. So, State Line, you can get this on Big Thirst. It is available.
Okay, everybody thinks I'm going to Texas, right? I'm not.
I would assume.
You've already told us all about all the Texas single malts.
No, I haven't, because I was going to say Ranger Creek out of San Antonio, Texas.
Okay,
and they're doing cool stuff. Here's the deal. They do a lower proof point. It's not for everybody. They're doing a lot of like Amberana finishing and stuff. Anyway, so the one I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, which you might not know, is Boulder Spirits. Ooh. So Boulder Spirits out of Boulder, Colorado, obviously. This is the Leave No Trace. I haven't opened it yet. It's due to be reviewed.
Leave No Trace is a fantastic bottle.
I heard from you, and that's why I picked it up.
And Ryan Negley's swan song with Boulder.
Yeah, well, anyway, a Scottish man came to America and decided he wanted to make Scottish style whiskey, and even his bourbon, not that we're a bourbon show, even his bourbon has 44% malted barley in it. So just understand this man knows his way around some malt, and from the American single malts that I've tried from them, absolutely fantastic. Go try Boulder Spirits.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. So I'm same challenge to you then, Doug. What do you got?
Yeah. So I'm going to go with somebody who's relatively new and like, okay, so we've talked about like, if we're ever going to get samples on this show from a distillery we've never tasted before, of course, we're going to taste it first to make sure that we're not going to, just like spit take at the camera, like, right. Like we don't want to go live and then shit talk of somebody who generously gifted us samples. Right. So we're always going to try stuff first. Right. So I invite people on my show, and sometimes I've never heard of this distillery before, or I've never had their whiskey before. Of course I want to try it first. Right. We've had this episode in planning for a while. Burnt Church from South Carolina, Bluffton, South Carolina, that made a Solace American single malt whiskey. My brain, guys. My brain is having a bad brain day. The cool thing about this whiskey, it's one of those things where like you don't know what to expect. Like it might be good, it might be not, but like you kind of don't necessarily always like expect a distillery like Burnt Church to be like, this is probably going to be smoky, right? Like you're just predisposed to think smoky. What I didn't expect was that, first of all, it's not smoky. Second of all, this very quickly became a daily drinker for me.
Wow.
It is super comforting whiskey. It's 105 proof, which is a perfect proof point for like something that's like, it's not weak, but it's not going to blow your face off.
Right.
It's unmistakably malty. It doesn't scream at you any particular odd flavor notes. It doesn't beg to be analyzed. It just wants to be in your glass. It is a warm hug at the end of a long day.
Amen.
Excellent.
So brand new product. Check these guys out and look out for our interview with them whenever we get that.
Soonish.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. Wednesday on the showdown, guys. Two heavy hitters coming at it, starting off round 3 with Caitlin Bartlemay versus Adam from Lost Lantern.
Oh, let's go.
So if you have not tuned into an episode of the Blind Sample Showdown this season at all, this is definitely one.
That's the one.
Do you got a DraftKings thing set up?
Yeah,
right.
No
right. This is going to be a good show. So
crap. Okay, awesome.
That's good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. May your pillows always be cold on both sides.
Ooh,
and may your cocktails be warm, because get ice the fuck out of here.
Amen.
All right. I don't think we can end it any better than that. But guys, thank you for tuning in. If you made it this long, we appreciate you. You caught a little bit of our negativity, you caught some of our positivity, and hopefully you guys get out, you try some American single malts if you haven't already. Hopefully you spread the word about American single malts willingly if you have been into American single malts, and point a couple people in our direction, and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, guys, we will see you later.
Rip them and sip them. I've been saying it. I don't know. It's a thing.
We got to work